What is up, everybody? I'm George Massey. So last night, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 15 is aired now. We get back on this roller coaster ride with Angela and Michael. Now, last week we saw this intense FaceTime call with Angela, Michael, and Billy, and Michael actually walked away from the relationship. He said that if you can't understand why talking to Billy and going to see Billy and taking care of Billy in his home is not acceptable in our marriage, I don't know that we should be married. So the next day, Angela and Michael have a conversation, and Michael finally puts his foot down and says, look, you are choosing Billy over our marriage, and you feel like your relationship with Billy is more important than my feelings in this marriage. And if that's how things are going to be, I will walk away. Now, this actually shocked Angela because Angela is not actually accustomed to being told what to do or even being stood up to. She let us know last night that the last time that she was actually married was over 30 years ago. So she has always been the boss of Angela, and that is just what she's accustomed to. She doesn't have anyone telling her what she can and can't do or where she can and can't go. But the idea that Michael would actually stand up to her and actually would walk away from their marriage based on the idea of her going to stay with Billy and take care of him showed her how serious Michael was. And she said that she can't accept Michael leaving her, so she is going to have to honor his wishes. This is a win for Michael because Michael has definitely been one who's been needing to stand up to Angela, who's been needing to stand up for himself, who's been needing to put his foot down in this relationship and find his voice. And I do feel like this situation is definitely something that is going to change the dynamic of the relationship in a small way, but still enough to give Michael an opportunity to speak on his mind and say how he feels and have his feelings taken into consideration. Now, a lot of people asked the question last night, including Michael. He said, what special powers do you have that you will be able to save this man's life? Now, a lot of people want some context for that because we know that Angela did work in hospice and her career was to actually help people during their end of life stage. And she was a caregiver and took care of people and made them more comfortable in the time where they actually weren't able to take care of themselves. So, whether or not she meant actually getting him a kidney and saving his life, or she meant just taking care of him and making him feel more comfortable in this time since there's not much else that can be done. Michael just didn't understand why it was so important to her to go against him and go to Canada and stay with him. But I think in hospice, that's kind of what your job is. You stay with the person, you help them, you cook for them, you clean for them, you help them go to the bathroom. It's just you're doing those things that they can't do for themselves and you're making them feel more comfortable. So unfortunately, that won't be happening for Billy from Angela at least, but maybe there's a possibility that Angela could fund or finance someone to do that for Billy for their friendship because she definitely has a strong friendship with Billy. She even said, I love you to Billy at the end of the call. I don't know how many of you caught that last night, but she did say, I love you to Billy at the end of the call. And I'm pretty sure if Michael was present and heard that, this situation would have blown even more out of proportion and crazy because hearing someone tell someone, I love you, makes it seem like a definite close relationship that you would want to keep an eye on. So last night, we also found out that Michael has been talking to the goofballs, the two friends that Angela has informed Michael early in their relationship that she wanted him to have nothing to do with. Now, we definitely know that Michael has been talking to them. This isn't our first time seeing them this season, but there will be a meeting between the goofballs and Angela and Michael coming up next week. So is this going to be another roller coaster ride of makeup, breakup, makeup, breakup? Because Angela has definitely made it clear that she doesn't want their bad influence on her husband, and Michael has not actually given up those friendships. And I don't think that he should. I think that you shouldn't have to give up friendships, and you shouldn't have to X people out of your life to make your spouse happy. I definitely think that you should respect each other's opinions, but you should not have to actually stop talking to people or stop communicating with people to make your spouse happy. So with only a couple of episodes left, what are your predictions for Angela and Michael? Do you feel like they're going to stay married? Do you feel like they're going to get divorced? Do you feel like the visa has to be pulled? Or do you feel like they're going to actually see eye to eye and this Billy situation was just another obstacle that they had to overcome in their long journey to getting Michael to Georgia? All right, guys, I'm George Massey. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Massey and at georgemassey.com for all your 90 Day Fiance news, interviews, and updates.